Aloha! Today I'm taking you a little bit further west on the island of Kaua'I. Come on, let's go. And we're in the small town of Kekaha, and it is a very quiet and quaint town. There are still many remnants from old plantation days, everything from sugar mills to old houses, and of course, generations of families who have lived here. Now, a lot of the population here on the west side consists of people from the island of Niihau, which is privately owned by the Robinson family, and they are able to come back and forth from Kaua'I to Niihau, and they do that on the barge. And so we have a lot of families that not only live here in Waimea and Kekaha on the west side, but also on the island of Niihau. There's still about 300 native Hawaiian people that live on the island, as well as the descendants of Elizabeth Sinclair, a missionary who purchased the island in 1864 from King Kamehameha V for $10,000. You can see that the house styles here are predominantly plantation-style houses. Now, in the early days of the sugar plantation, we had contract labor. We're coming up here to one of our Hawaiian language immersion schools. This is one of two on this side of the island, and they learn Hawaiian and English, but Hawaiian as their first language. Ka'olelo makuahine, the mother tongue. And we're just looking around at the town. Now, this is also an area where you have a lot of fishermen because of the salt ponds being located on this side in Hanapepe. Fish was preserved and then traded to people who lived in other areas of the island in which other types of food grew. So you had a lot of commerce that took place between the leeward side of the island and the windward side, and then the uplands versus the ocean side. So we're driving down through the small town of Kekaha, and we're going to go right back out to Kaua'I Highway, which is the main vein, the main highway that'll take us all the way west to where the road ends at Polihale Beach. And those are miles and miles of sand, and there are many sand dunes on this side. As you drive further west, we have the Pacific Missile Range Facility. That's a Navy base, a naval base, should I say, and it is used to intercept any missiles that are aimed towards California. So that's the purpose of the base over here. Now, unfortunately, the base is located on sand dunes, and sand dunes were used for burial grounds, the sand in general. So there was a lot of controversy back in the 80s with this military base, but we can all see that when imperialism happened here in the Pacific, it was deliberately to take over land for military bases, resources, and spreading your culture around. So here it's controversial because of where it is located on burial dunes. And as you travel further to the west side, you'll be in an area called Mana. And there are perennial streams out here. They're very long. And what they used to do is they used to take their taro or their kalo plants and they would tie them onto a raft and float them up and down the river for them to grow. And another reason why when Captain Cook arrived here, and he did arrive here first in Waimea, Kaua'I, in 1778, he did have, he mentioned, as well as the journalists on his expedition with him, commented on what a high state of agriculture and aquaculture they had here. I want to tell you a not so known story about Niihau over there during the attack of Pearl Harbor. Niihau was still a very primitive island without electricity. So during the attack on Pearl Harbor, the people on the island were not aware of the attack. A Japanese pilot crash landed on the island, and there were 3 people on the island of Japanese ancestry, and he was treated hospitably because the residents of Niihau were not aware of the attack on Pearl Harbor because it's still a primitive island. They don't have electricity and telephones and things to that extent. There were, however, 3 people that spoke Japanese on the island of Niihau at that time, and one of them did attempt to help the pilot make sure that none of the information got into the enemy's hands, but that was an unsuccessful attempt. The pilot then took residents Ben Kanahele and his wife hostage, and at one point Ben Kanahele was shot 5 times, and he picked up the pilot and smashed his head into a rock wall, and the pilot died. And that's how the little island of Niihau became involved during the Pearl Harbor attack. Now we're at the Kekaha small boat harbor. This is where the tours that go to Napali Coast in the summer take off from. And during the winter time, when the seas are rougher on the Napali Coast, we have whale watching tours. You'll probably recognize one of the trees that we have growing abundantly on this side, and that's the mesquite tree, Kiave wood. And so when we cook out on this side, a lot of people use the natural charcoal that's here. And we'll be approaching the Waimea Plantation Cottages. It is a place where people can stay. The cottages are unique and individual. They have anywhere from, I think, 1 to 3 bedrooms. And you're staying right on the west side, just yards from the beach. It's a beautiful area. Now you're going to notice something new from the last video that I did entering Waimea. This is a brand new traffic light. It's not even on yet on this day that we went through Waimea. And that's because this is a school area and traffic turning left during school hours gets really busy. But our island is known for not having any traffic lights. When I came out here as a young teenager in '87, the only traffic lights other than a couple in the city of Lihue, if you will, or town of Lihue, where the airport is, there might have been 1 or 2 out there, but the only traffic lights I remember being here were in the cane field. One of them at the end of the road going west out to Polihale, because they were Sugar Hall Cane Road, the Sugar Cane Hall Road light in Koloa, and that was it. So now we have a new traffic light as far out as Waimea. And coming back down from Waimea Canyon, we have the Waimea Sugar Mill at the intersection where the new traffic lights are. And we're going to turn left back onto Kaulakahi Highway. And coming up is my favorite place to eat, the Shrimp Station. They fix shrimp in a variety of ways. My favorite is the beer battered, and it's served with a fresh papaya tartar sauce, best on the island. Now, of course, Kaua'I's Red Dirt is famous for making red dirt t-shirts, and you can purchase them at many places around the island. And stop at JoJo's for some Hawaiian shave ice. L&L Barbecue. And coming up is the Hawaiian Church. And of course, Ishihara Market for all of your sushi and poke needs. And we're headed back over the Waimea Bridge, looking out towards the Waimea River mouth. And coming up is Pa'ulaula and the King Kaua'I statue. And we're back in Makaweli. This is the old Makaweli post office. And as you can see, it's in its classic plantation style. I hope you've enjoyed taking a step back in time here on the west side of Kaua'I in the old sugar plantation fields. Makes you feel like you're back in old plantation days. Thank you for joining me, Seashell Surf. If you're enjoying the videos from the Hawaiian Islands, don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, ask questions or comments below, and share the aloha and these videos with friends and family.